Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be showing you an end-to-end data engineering project. So this is my source on-premises database. So I'll be using Azure Data Factory. We'll be using a dynamic pipeline to load the data from my SQL Server 2025 on-premises on my laptop to Azure Data Lake. And on the Azure Data Lake, I'll be using Medallion architecture, which is a three-layer architecture, bronze, silver, and gold, whereby the data will be moving from one stage to the other. The first stage will be the bronze, which is the source data, exactly it is. The raw data will be exactly it was on my on-premises. But at this stage, I'll be storing the data in a packed format. Then I will be using Databricks, Azure Databricks, to transform the data from the source data to the silver, from the source layer to the silver layer. So then from there, I will transform data to the gold layer, whereby I will pick it from Synapse, create my views in Synapse. Then I will be displaying the data in a on my Power BI dashboard. Okay. So in order not to waste our time, let's dive into this. So first, I will open my SQL server just for you to have a brief understanding of the database we are working with. So this is my database. So we will be working with the AdventureWorks LT 2005. This is on premises, and these are the tables. And these are all the tables that will be migrating to Azure using Azure Data Factory. So we'll be moving this data. I can show you, let me show you one of the sample data, what it looks like. You can download this from Microsoft. You can download this database from Microsoft and restore it to your system to follow along. Just go to Google and type AdventureWorks LT 2005 database download. Click on execute. So this is how our sample data looks like. So the next phase will be, so this is our source that I just show you now. Now we need to create all of this. We need to create all of these resources in Azure. So I'm going to Azure now to create each and every one of these resources. And from there, we start the migration process. And from there, we start the ingestion process. So let's go to Azure. So this is my Azure interface. Let me go to Home. This is my, if I come here, go to resource groups. Resource groups. So in Azure, before you can start creating any resources, you must have a resource group. So I will explain that using this. So when you create an Azure account, you are automatically assigned a subscription. Okay. So under each subscription, you can create up to 980 resource group. So for this, when you create a resource group, your resource group is like a folder that you'll be using to group together all your resources. So any resources I will be creating, I have to group them under a particular resource group. So for this data pipeline training, I'll be creating this resource group name. Okay, so under it, let me copy it out. So under this resource group, then I'll be creating all my resources. So I will come here, my resource group name, I'm going to give it a name. I want everything to be in capital letter, small letter. Then you have to select a region or a location. So I'll be selecting West US2 for this. Then click on next. Then click on next and click on create. Now, as you can see, it says resource group created. So if I go back to resource group, recent resources, then I go to resource group. Yeah, you can see this is my resource group that we just created. So if I click on my resource group, I don't have any resources under it. So because the resource group is like a folder, like I said, as I've shown you here, it's like, so all of these resources that we need to create to form this architecture, we need to group them under that resource group. So now we create the first one, which is the ADF. So to create that, I can come here and say create. Azure service only. Then this is ADF, Azure Data Factory. So I click on this and I say create data factory. So now automatically it have assigned it my subscription name, the new resource group that we created. Now I can now give my data factory a name. So I like to use this naming convention. Then I need to change the location. As you can see, it's showing me that my location is East US. But when I was creating the resource group, I selected West US2. So I need to change that to West US2. Then I click on next. I don't have to change anything again. Just click on next, next. Then I click on create. Okay, now, so the resource group is created. So this is my resource group. So under my resource group, if I go to recent resources, this is my resource group. So you can see now I have my Azure Data Factory under my resource group. So we need to follow the same step to create other resources. So what I want to do now is I want to open my home page on a new tab. Then what is the next resources that we need to create? We need to create the data lake, which is a storage account. So to do that, I can just come here and type storage account. So when I click on create, can you see my resource group is automatically selected. So I'm going to give it a name, SA. So this is my storage account name. This is my location. Then standard. Then I'm going to change this to local redundancy because that will be cheaper. Then I'm going to select block storage data lake gen 2. This is very, very important. Azure block storage data lake gen 2. select that, then click on next, then enable this namespace, click on next, click on next, 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 then create. So you can see that the deployment is in progress. To view what the system is doing, you can always click on this notification icon, and you can see, so it's creating the storage account. So that is in progress here. So the storage account is created. If I come to my previous tab here and do a refresh here, can you see? So my storage account is created. So, but one thing is left. If you look at our architecture inside the storage account, because in the storage account is where we are going to store our data. So inside the storage account, that is where we have the medallion architecture layers, which is the bronze, the silver, and the gold layer. This is the architecture that is used in data engineering. So we need to create all of these container where we are going to store our data. So to do that, we go to the storage account. We say go to resources. So this is our storage account. So more or less like we are inside our storage, like we are inside this box. That is when I click on the go to the resources. So we are inside this box. So and when we are inside the box is empty. So our storage account now is empty. So what do? We click on data storage container. Then we click on add container. So then we give it a name, bronze. Then we say create. Can you see? Now we have the bronze. Then the second thing we create is silver container. Silver, create. So now we have the silver container. Then we have the last one, which is the gold. Yeah. So now we have the gold container. So as at this moment, now means we completed all of these tasks, and all of this. So we've completed these tasks, and all of these tasks has been completed. So the next thing we want to create is the data bricks. Okay, so to do that, we go back. I can do that from here. Data. Azure data bricks. Click on that. You can click on create from here, and you can as well come here to click on create. Now my subscription is selected. I need to select my resource group. Instead of doing create new, I will click on this and select my existing resource group that I have used for other resources that I have created. So after selecting that, I will give it a name. That means I will give it data bricks. Then the same location. Then I'll click on next. 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 Validation successful. Then create. So I'll wait for this to create as well. You can say deploying. deployment in progress. So everything we've created so far, you can see them here under your notification. So this is still in progress. Now our deployment is completed. So as you can see here, so if I go back to my previous tab and I do a refresh, can you see? So it's like now I'm putting all my resources in my bucket, or let me say in my folder, which is the resource group. So, and they all belongs to the same location, which is West US 2. So then the next resources I want to create is the synapse. So let's minimize, go back here and type synapse, Azure Synapse Analytics. Then I'll click on create. Let me close this notification. So here I select my resource group, which is this. Then I come here, workspace. So I have to give it a name, my workspace a name. Done. Select West US 2. Then, yeah, so here we need to select, and because the synapse is like, I'm going to talk more on synapse analytics, and I'm going to create another video on that we explain more about how synapse analytics works. So it needs a folder, or let me say like a storage account that is going to use to store is the process while working, while you are calling your views, because you need to create all of these views in your synapse. By the time we get there, you will understand better. So it needs a folder to store that. So I'm going to go back to my storage account. Let me open my storage account separately, and I'll go to container. Then under where I created the bronze, gold, and silver, I'm going to add another container and call it synapse data. Okay, great. Now it's there, synapse data. So I can close this tab. So if I come here, I select the storage account, then I need to select the folder that Synapse Analytics is going to use. So instead of me to select bronze, I will select the Synapse data that we just created. Then I'll click on next. Click on next. Click on next. Next. Then validation succeeded, and click on create. So our deployment is completed. If I come back to my previous tab and I do a refresh, can you see now we have our synapse? So the next I want to create now. So what I will do is that I will create everything. The next I want to create now is the key vault, because I want to create everything on Azure before I will move to how to install Power BI. So go back to, so now we need to create a key vault. So this key vault is where we are going to store our password, because we need the username and password to connect to the SQL Server on premises, and we don't want anybody that have access to, maybe any member of our team that have access to our Azure interface, to be able to access our password or give our password out to anyone. So in that case, we have to store our password inside the key vault. So I'm going to click on create, select the resource group, give it a name, my naming convention, so change the region to West US2, then select the pricing tier standard because that one is cheaper. Click on next. Okay, so let me change this name. Let me put 2 in front of this. That means I've done it before. We have 2, next, 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 then create. Now we wait. You can see deployment is in progress. Yeah, that is done. Let me go back here, refresh. Now we have all our resources that is needed for us to create our pipeline. So the next thing we want to do, then, okay, we also have this that I need to talk about. This is the Active Directory, but it's called Microsoft Entra ID. So I will show you that. So to see that, you come here. Automatically, when you create your Azure account, you are automatically assigned a Microsoft. Let me just type Entra. Yeah, Microsoft Entra ID. So you will, if you come here, just go to manage users. So you can see your name there, your email address. So this is automatically created for you. So you don't need to do anything about that. That is done already. Then the next thing we want to do is, one more thing that is missing here is the Power BI. So to install the Power BI, go to your computer and go to Microsoft Store on your computer. Click on the search button and type Power BI. So when you get to the Microsoft Store, when you search for Power BI, you are going to see it here. So just click on it. Then you will see Power BI Desktop. So because I've installed it already, that is why it's showing open. But for you, if you are installing Power BI for the first time, it's going to show install. So after installation, it will show like this, open. So if I click on open, this is what I have. So this is how your Power BI interface will looks like. So now the next step is for us to start moving our data. So we come back to this when now we've installed all the resources that we needed. We've installed the SQL Server on premises on my laptop. We've installed all the resources we needed in Azure, the ADF, the data lake, the Databricks, the Synapse Analytics, the Key Vault, and we've installed the Power BI. So the next step is for us to start ingestion process. Then after that, we will work on the transformation. So kindly follow and subscribe so that when I post the next video on ingestion, you will be able to get a notification.